Welcome to the screencast where I'll demonstrate how to deploy Grails 1.1.1 applications onto Google App Engine using the Google App Engine plugin. To get started, the first thing you need to do is to create a Grails application. You can do so by typing Grails create app and then the application name. In this case, I'm going to call it Grails Music Store. The Grails create app command will go off and create you a Grails application structure. It will install some plugins along the way. Once it's done, you'll have an application ready. Before we can continue though, you need to actually set up a application ID that matches your application name on the App Engine site. So go to appengine.google.com and in your account create a new application that matches your Grails application name. You can also customize this name using a configuration setting which is described in the App Engine plugin documentation. Once the application has been created, you can cd into it by typing cd Grails Music Store, and then the first thing you need to do is uninstall the Hibernate plugin. App Engine itself doesn't currently support Hibernate. It supports either JPA or JDO, so we won't be needing the Hibernate plugin. The next step is to install the App Engine plugin, and you can do that by typing Grails install plugin App Engine. This will go off to the Grails central repository, and once it's done, you'll notice that it'll give you a message and it will say you haven't specified an App Engine SDK, and you can do so by setting an environment variable, which I'll do now. With that done, you should just be able to type Grails App Engine, and this will start up the App Engine development server with your Grails application running inside of it. You'll get hot reloading support, so when you change controllers, tag libraries, GSPs, they'll automatically be reloaded in the browser, so you get fast iterative development. And you can access it just on port 8080 as soon as it's started up. There we go. There it is. The next step, what I'm going to do now is demonstrate how to create a domain class. So domain classes in Grails live in the domain directory, and I'm going to create one by typing Grails create domain class and the name of the domain class, which I'll call com.music.album. App Engine requires that you have domain classes in packages, which is good practice anyway, so get used to doing that. So you'll notice in my domain directory I've got a com music album, and you'll notice that it's using JDO mappings by default. The App Engine plugin will automatically configure JDO by default. So I've got JDO annotations doing the mapping for me. I can then create a bunch of persistent properties, so I can say this album has a title, this album has a artist, and I can save that. You can then run Grails generate all and into the name of the domain class com.music.album, and this will generate a controller view pairing that will allow me to do CRUD operations, so typical scaffolding stuff. There it is. So if you look in the controllers directory, com music album controller, there it is. You'll notice some characteristics. It's using the JDO API, so there's a persistence manager, and it's using JDO queries to obtain the data. At this point, we should try and run this app. So Grails App Engine to run it again. This will start up the container once more on port 8080. And you'll notice the JDO classes get enhanced, so the plugin actually hooks into Google's JDO data nucleus enhancer. Now if we refresh this, the browser, you'll notice that we have our new album controller. I can click on it, and there we go, we have our Grails application up and running. I can type in the name of the artist, Kings of Leon, and the title of the album, and we have CRUD operations working no problem. Great. Now deploy this application, we are going to do a couple of things. First of all, we're going to type Grails App Engine package. This will create a package deployment which you can use to deploy the application. The first time you deploy the application, you need to do so using the App Engine command line utilities. These are currently the only way to authenticate properly, so I have to go into my App Engine distribution and use the appconfig.sh script and type update and then point it to the target/war directory. That's the directory that the Grails App Engine package command created. So target/war, and I hit enter, and then it will start deploying my application to App Engine. It'll prompt you for your password, for your Google account, which you can enter. And with that done, oh, I see. So this is one of the differences between Grails and App Engine. App Engine versions are non-decimal, so while Grails versions are 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, App Engine versions start at 1, so we have to set the version to 1 so that Grails versions start at 1, and then just package our app up again. And then once that's done, we can run the same command again to deploy. So appconfig.sh update target/war. And now the first time you do this will actually take quite a while because it has to upload a bunch of jars and so forth. But Google App Engine supports incremental deployment, so later on it'll be much faster. But eventually it'll finish up, and then your app should be ready and operational over the web. So if we open up a browser and we go to Grails musicstore.appspot.com, and the application will be ready. There it is. Okay, excellent. So click on the album controller, create a new album. This is all running on Google's infrastructure. There it is. Okay, so you have a Grails application up and running on Google App Engine and using the Google Data Store API via JDO. So if we look at this application in the dashboard, you'll see that it'll give us various details about the load and so forth. And you can also see the versions of your application. On the left hand side there's the versions, and you can see we've deployed version 1. There's a direct link to version 1 of the application, and this is it up and running. And that's it. That's Google App Engine and Grails working in harmony. We have a lot installed planned, including GORM support over App Engine. So there's still a lot more to come, but this is just the first step in what is a very exciting possibility.